Here is a quick overview of the trip I took from Shanghai to Anhui last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and coming back on Sunday. There were 3 stops in my itinerary. The first was Hongcun, the second was Tangkou, and the third was Huangshan. And the whole trip cost me about 1,000 kuai. I started out by taking a bus from Shanghai to Tunxi, which is Huangshan City. The bus cost me 130 kuai, and it took about 5 or 6 hours to get to Huangshan City. Then from Huangshan City, I took a local bus to this village here, Hongcun. Hongcun is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and some movies were shot here, including Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So I took the bus to Hongcun, and then the entrance fee at Hongcun was 104 kuai. And I spent the evening walking around Hongcun, and then the next day I planned to go to Tangkou, which is the city that you go to start your trek up Huangshan, Yellow Mountain in Anhui. There were 2 buses that go directly from Hongcun to Tangkou. The first was at 6:50 and the second was at 9:50. The first one at 6:50 I thought was too early, so I planned to take the one from 9:50. But the one from 9:50 was at first delayed, and then eventually it was just canceled completely. So I had to think of another plan to get to Tangkou. The person at the hotel told me my best bet was to take a local bus to Yixian, and then from Yixian I could take a direct bus to Tangkou. And so I did that, and so I spent the rest of the morning walking around Hongcun, and this is the next morning in Hongcun. There's a lot of university students that come to Hongcun to practice painting, so you can see them with their easels and stuff set up, painting pictures of the buildings with their white walls and their black tiles and all that good stuff. So then I took the bus from first from Hongcun to Yixian, and then from Yixian to Tangkou. And I got to Tangkou in the afternoon around 3 or 4. And I wanted to see if I could quick make it up and down Huangshan in the evening, but the person at the hotel I found told me that that was not going to be possible. So I spent the afternoon walking around Tangkou and then made plans to go up Huangshan the next day. And my plan was to go up the eastern path, which is supposed to take around 2.5 hours, and then go down the western path, which is supposed to take around 5 hours or so. So I was able to take the eastern path up, and because I went directly up the mountain and went pretty fast, it took me about 1 hour and 15 minutes to go up the eastern path. But then when I got to the top of Huangshan, this here is Tangkou. When I got up to the top of Huangshan, I was looking for the western path, but I couldn't find any signs that led to the western path. I could only see signs that led to the northern entrance, the southern entrance, and the western entrance. And this is the part that gets a little bit confusing, because I figured that the western path led to the western entrance. That is not the case. It's like this. The eastern path goes to the northern entrance. The western path goes to the southern entrance, and then the western entrance is not actually used by anybody. So I went towards the western entrance thinking that I was going down the western path, but I was not, and there was nobody going down this path. And then finally when I got to the entrance itself, I found out that there was nobody there. There were basically no buses there. There's just one driver there. And I asked him how I could get back to Tangkou, and he kind of laughed at me and said it was going to cost 300 kuai to get back to Tangkou, and I wasn't going to accept that price. So he said, okay, you can spend 200 kuai and go to Hongcun. And I said, that's still too expensive. So he said my best choice was to spend 100 kuai and go to Taiping. And I said, no, it's still too expensive. Can you make it any cheaper? He refused to make it any cheaper. So I said, okay, what happens if I just walk? He said, even if you walk, you can't really get anywhere, and it would take at least 20 kilometers to get to any other buildings or anything. And so I said, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and walk, which was kind of a silly choice. But I just started walking. I walked for about 10 minutes. The driver ended up catching up to me, and he said, you still don't want to take a ride with me? And I said, can you make it any cheaper? He finally went down to 80 kuai, and he took me to Taiping, and then from Taiping I caught a bus back to Tangkou, and then from Tangkou I took a bus to Huangshan City, and then I took the train back to Shanghai.